Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Founders Chair podcast. I'm Andy Goldberg, and I'm very, very delighted to have on the show today Stephen Wilson from AIC Heating UK Limited. Stephen, welcome to the Founders Chair.
Thank you. Thanks for having me, Andy.
Yeah, thanks so much for being on the show. Can you just to get to know you a little bit personally, could you just tell us a little bit first about your personal story, Stephen? Where you're from, where you live, what you get up to, that kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. I've, my name's Stephen Wilson. I live in Glasgow. I've lived in Glasgow all my life. Never really wanted to leave Glasgow, so I stay there. I've got family. I've got two grown-up kids. So I've done all the the kids stuff, the university stuff. I stay in the north of Glasgow, and I've been in this industry now since pretty much since leaving school, since 1984 actually. So just over 40 years in this wonderful ever-changing industry that we've got just now. So I don't know if that's enough for you, Andy. You need a
That's
bit
a,
more.
yeah, I mean that's enough. So your business is in Inverkeithing, so you're commuting
Yes.
from
Yeah.
Glasgow to the Fife area,
Yes. Yep.
because you can't take the man out of Glasgow.
No, you can't. And to be honest, when we set up this business, um, the skill base that we had, our technical people, they all lived local to Inverkeithing. So rather than a mass of people travelling to Glasgow, which would have been perfect for me, it seemed more relevant that one person should travel to Fife.
Yeah, fair enough.
So that's the reason why we're in Inverkeithing.
Yeah, we couldn't take my wife out of Glasgow either, so that's why I live here. Um,
Perfect.
and that's one of the things I love about Glasgow. Actually, is there is a lot of a pride for
Mm.
people from the city, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. It's like every city. It's got its ups. It's got its
Yeah.
down. As a city, it's a fantastic city.
So tell us your story of how the business came about, Steve, and at what point did you make the decision to go out on your own, and what made you feel you had the confidence to run your own business?
Well, to be fair, and as I said to Lauren at the initial discussions when we were talking about doing this podcast, this is a subsidiary, a European subsidiary, and we set it up simply because we're part of a European business. They didn't have any subsidiaries in anywhere, so as I say, I've been in this industry for just over 40 years. I worked for a rival company, and I was approached to set up a new business, a new subsidiary, and the first subsidiary of the group, which I was quite happy to do. And we set this business up. What was probably the most important thing for me was to get our team on board. And we had,
Hmm.
I came from a relatively successful business, which I was there. I was managing director there for 5 or 6 years, and we turned that business around. It'd been going backwards for a number of years, and we turned that round. But what helped us turn it round was the team that we had in place. And when we started this business, I wanted to take most of that team with me. So yeah, we had a little bit of investment to allow us to do that. We started our conversations mid 2018, and by the start of 2019, we had we incorporated the company. We set up the company, and we officially opened on the 2nd of January 2019. We didn't have any products to sell. We didn't have any premises. We didn't have any customers. And I was introducing a brand new product and brand to the market. And on top of that, we had, in the first couple of months, we had 8 mouths to feed. So it was quite a daunting time, but we knew, we had an idea, we had a plan on who we were going to approach, who our customers were going to be. So we then set about getting a base, which is in Inverkeithing. So we rented a warehouse, but we needed to change the layout of it. We needed a training school for our gas appliances, so we had to train engineers on our appliances. So we built that. We built offices. We built meeting rooms, etc., and retained warehouse, because we do a lot of our products are commercial products, so they're quite take up a bit of space.
Yeah.
So we needed some warehouse space. So we did that. We started, as I say, the beginning of 2019, probably into the second half of 2019, we started filling our warehouse with goods. The first kind of 5-6 months, we were prospecting. We were going to see clients that we'd spoke to in the past with previous companies, telling them, building up a kind of portfolio of customers and building up a bit of interest in our new product range. And that, as I say, took good 6 months. And then the second half of the year, we started selling product. Now, we started selling product. Did we make much money at the start? No, we didn't, because what was more important to me was to have customers and to be selling product and people to use our product. And what that gave us a good reference point for new prospective customers. We say, these guys are dealing with us. We've been involved with this project, that project, and that helped us. And we had to buy some of that business, if I'm being totally honest. And
Sure.
And it worked for us. So we started trading quite well at the tail end of 2019, the start of 2020. It was going well, and then the inevitable happened in March 2020. When we look back on it, it's such a strange time where we had the pandemic. However, for us, it wasn't such a big deal, because we were so low level at that point. If you ask me now, if it happened now, it would be a disaster for us. But,
yeah, you didn't have much to lose. You'd only been trading a year.
We only had to gain. I mean,
Yeah.
we didn't lose a thing. We gained. Probably what it did is it restricted our growth, or how quickly we could grow, because we couldn't go and see people. We had Zoom meetings, we had team meetings, but I think there's nothing better than sitting in front of someone, especially when you've got a new product and a new brand to bring to the market. So yeah, that was it. Was it difficult? No, not really. It was challenging, and for us, it was okay.
We don't always remember how difficult things were, do we? Like once you've got some momentum and you're going and you're kind of settled in and stable, it's hard to remember, like, what was I thinking back then? Like, so when you started out, you had nothing. You didn't have premises. You didn't have products, really. You didn't have customers. Did you have a plan, or did you wing it?
No, we had a plan. The plan was to get the premises, get the customers, and we followed that plan pretty much to the letter. We all our planning meetings were done in cafes and the likes, because we didn't have premises. But we had a plan before that, and we had a budget in place, and so we had a plan, and that plan was pretty accurate, and how we followed it was pretty accurate. We had from when we started to pretty much a 5-year plan to get to where we are today. Okay, the 2019, we didn't really. That was our kind of introduction year. We didn't plan on selling that much in 2019. So really, from the start of 2020 was our 5-year plan, which we've just completed, actually, and we've achieved the goals that we set ourselves,
Right.
5-6 years ago.
Tell us about your company now. What are your key products and services, and who are your key customers? Like, who's your target audience?
Well, our key products, what we do now, we're in the heating sector, and we built the business on gas appliances. Our industry is changing as the world is. We're looking at decarbonisation products. We have since part of the group is we purchased a heat pump company. If I'm being totally honest, I'm sure some people would argue this point. I'm not 100% sure our industry knows what direction it's going in, if I'm being honest. So,
Right.
because yes, we want to follow decarbonising and we want to cut emissions, etc. But there's a price tag attached to that. And although there's a real willingness from the industry, when it gets down to the costs and the ongoing costs, that changes it a little bit. So yes, we're doing decarbonisation products. We're doing projects as well with this. We still gas just now is like maybe a kind of dirty secret. No one wants to talk about it, but the market's still where it is, where it's been for the last few years. Okay, maybe a couple of percent either side, but the market's still there in the commercial world. Domestic slightly different, but so we still are investing in gas products and bringing new gas products as well as renewable products to the market, because we still think that the both sides of that heating divide are very active.
So do you talk a lot in your marketing or with your customers around environment and decarbonization and gas and all these things? Like, do you bring it out into the open, or is it just
we do, and I think one of the key points for us, and we speak to a lot of our work is in public sector, so they get a bit of government funding for these projects, and we do, and we're very open about it, because when we present to these guys, and most of these buildings that we speak about when you're in the public sector are existing buildings, right? And with existing buildings, you can't just take out your gas boiler and put in a heat pump, straight swap. It just doesn't work, because it's two different temperatures. I don't know how technical you want to get, Andy, but really it's you can't just take the boiler out and put a heat pump in and save the world. It just doesn't work like that. So there has to be more design put into it. You can change all the internals of the system, but that again doesn't happen because it's quite a costly thing to do. So when we present, we all speak about hybrid. So you've got your heat pump, and then you've got some form of backup heating as well. And the first question that I usually get asked is, what is the payback? And we have to be honest and say, financially, there's no payback. It will cost you more. There's more capital cost and there's more ongoing cost. So the only thing you're going to save here is carbon. And that's really what we're trying to do. That's what we're trying to achieve. If you're talking about saving money, stick with gas. If you want to, save carbon, then go decarbonising. And that's that, and we are very, very honest about that. And so our customers appreciate that, and yeah, we get involved in projects, but sometimes when they get the budgets back, they go, let's rethink this. When it happens, so
every cost needs to be explained, every cost needs to be justified, and if it's a cost that doesn't create an ROI, then you've got to have other benefits and stories.
I mean, but these costs are 5, 6, 7 times higher. It's not just an extra 50K or whatever. It's multiples.
Tell us a little bit about your kind of entrepreneurial journey as the leader of this company. What would you say has been your biggest learning so far?
I think the biggest learning curve. I mean, we've had to go through quite a lot of change as a a small business in a short period of time. Um, but what's been key is trying to change with the market and change with the customers. So as I said earlier, the market doesn't quite know where it's going, but we've had to change to adapt for any
Yeah.
avenue that the market goes down. So and that comes not only as a product change, it comes as a skill change, even from our technical side. So there's lots of yeah, the products are at the you know, the coal face, but what's behind that is difficult because with, you know, the backup, the service level, and that's had to change quite considerably.
Yeah. And how hard is it to change and adapt and stay flexible? Because I find, when I talk to a lot of business owners, they talk about big ideas for the future, but actually then find it hard to get out of their ways and out of people get stuck in their routine and in their comfort zone, which
Yeah.
is fair enough. But how hard is it to step out of that and stay adaptable?
Yeah, I think it's easier to do it than it maybe used to be, because I think if we don't step out of it, we'll just fester and die. You know, we have to. It's a necessity for us as a business and as personnel in the business, that we have to,
Yeah.
step out of this comfort zone, because the market's changing, so we have to change. And thankfully, we're of a size of business that we are, flexible. We can move. Some of our competitors who are much more established than we are and much bigger than we are, it's much harder for them to be flexible. And that when we started this business, that was one of the key things. We wanted to be a flexible business, whether that be from a product range and adapting to different markets and adapting to different technologies, to service levels. We
Yeah.
have to be versatile, or we, as I say, we just fester and die if we don't. So we have to, but we have to keep our eye on every side of the market.
Mm,
We can't just focus on one. So yeah, that's been a huge learning curve for us. All of
sure.
it in the business.
What would you say has been the biggest challenge over the past few years, and how did you work through it? Did you have people that helped you through it, like people on the outside, kind of pushing you or challenging you to work through your challenge? Let's start with what was the biggest challenge?
Well, the biggest challenge was actually setting up the business,
Yeah.
and bringing a new brand to the market. That was very difficult, and much more difficult than I thought, if I'm being honest. Where we've got quite an established market, it's quite a congested market. So we were trying to slot in there with someone that no one had ever heard of before, and trying to compete with market leaders. It's like in the car industry. Someone brings a new brand in, and we bring a new brand in that's a high tech brand and an expensive brand. So that was the real challenge, and we had to convince people not only was our product better and more expensive, so we had to convince people to switch brand from what they were used to a new brand that was on a lot of occasions more expensive. So that was a real challenge. Some came with us and some didn't. And
Yeah.
that's what we focused on. We focused really on the guys that wanted to come on the journey with us, because they could see we were a new business, they could see we were a new brand. I'm eternally grateful to a lot of these customers that came and joined us, and they're still part of our business, still part of our customer base, because what we said to them was, it's a great brand, it's a great product, and we'll give you fantastic service. And we did that. And you can't just say that, you've got to do it. So
Yeah.
So we did that, and even given the service level that we still give, is always a challenge, because the better you are at service, the more demand is put on your service.
Sure.
And that's what, if we can fix something next day, then that then becomes the benchmark.
Yeah, you
Um,
keep raising expectations.
exactly. So if you do something well today, then you have to do it again tomorrow, and continually.
Yeah,
And that's all part of the whole process, and the challenges that we face. And yeah, how did we overcome the challenges? We just had to keep pressing forward. And was there days that I scratched my head? Absolutely. And was there nights that I thought into the small hours, like, what the hell am I doing? Yeah, absolutely. But we had to just keep fighting through, because we knew we had a good story. We knew we had
mm,
a good story to tell. We had a good product, and thankfully, I control the whole service side of it as well. So if service levels dips, then I get to hear about it, and I challenge the guys as to why that slipped.
yeah. What's the next big thing for you and your business, Stephen? What do the next 1 to 3 years look like in terms of growth, challenges, opportunity?
Yeah, we've got quite a lot on just now. Actually, we've as I said, we've finished our first 5 year plan, and successfully, I may add. Now we're on to our second 5 year plan, and part of that is where we are just now. We've outgrown, right? So we've since purchased, well, probably last year, beginning of last year, we purchased some land, not so far from here, still in Fife. Um, and we're going to build. We've now got planning permission for it. Actually, we're going to build a big new purpose-built warehouse, 22,000 square foot warehouse, 5,000 square foot offices, which include a 2,500 square foot training facility.
Oh,
Um, and we're investing. I'll not share how much it's going to cost, but it's costing more than I'm comfortable with. But I think sometimes we have to be uncomfortable.
maybe that's a sign you're doing it right then.
Yeah, maybe it is.
Yeah.
If I'm comfortable, then you're probably right. We're not doing it properly. So yeah, so that we hope to be on site second half of this year to build that. We're looking at a 14-15 month build, and our growth strategy is to follow the same trajectory it's been for the last 5 years, and if we do that, then we'll be pretty
Yeah.
successful too.
Brilliant. And which means you're going to have to keep on top of those service levels even more then, eh?
Absolutely, have to, and as we grow, we're not scared to employ people.
Yeah.
We're not scared to add to our team, whether it be external sales team or internal team, technical team. So no, we're quite happy to expand. If we're going to expand the business, we need to expand the team.
Yeah.
And that's what we'll do.
What advice would you give to business owners or would-be business owners who are just going out on their own or who are thinking about going out on their own?
Well, what I would say is it will be difficult, and it'll be challenging, and you'll have a few head scratches along the way. But you just have to keep fighting through. If you truly believe in what your product is doing and your service is doing, then if you're convinced of that, then other people will be convinced by your energy. And you just have to
Yeah.
keep pushing through. And I think this is one thing that I say to the sales team is, if you're not convinced, people will pick up that you're not convinced, and they won't buy from you. You've got to be convinced in your product and your service that you can deliver exactly what they want.
Yeah.
You
And
know,
if you're not, you just got to fake it till you make it, huh?
I've been doing it for 41 years. So no, I think so, and everybody within this company, they've got a real vested interest in it being successful, because the people that joined this business were, from my previous company that I looked after, and some of them were there 20 years, and they took a gamble on me and what I was going to do, and I feel that I owe it to them as well
Yeah,
to be successful, and yeah, I think
sure.
we're doing okay. Our turnover's nice. We're making money. This is what we're growing, and as I say, we're
Yeah.
investing in this new building, and for the next, we'll be there for the next so many years.
So you've got real motivation to continue this growth, right? You've got
Oh,
your team
absolutely.
that are loyal. You've got you're investing in new property, new offices, new land. You've got to keep going now. You can't rest on your laurels.
No, absolutely not. And that's the motivation for us is to grow the business, have the, as I say, we've really been trading for 5 years, and we've outgrown where we are. So we're investing in new premises. So yeah, we have to keep pushing forward with that, and getting growth, and extending the sales team and extending
Right.
the backroom team. So yeah, we're very motivated.
Well, best of luck to you. We're going to keep a close eye on you and see how you guys are getting on over the next 5 years of growth.
Yeah, I appreciate that, Andy.
Well, look, we've come to the end of the interview, Stephen. Thank you so much again for being on the show.
You're welcome.
This has been the Founders Chair Podcast. I'm Andy Goldberg, and we've been speaking with Stephen Wilson from AIC Heating UK Limited. Thanks to all our listeners, as always, for watching. And Stephen, thanks again for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
We'll see you all again soon.